Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the lecture summary for the future of corrections. I'm actually doing this lecture early so that next week you guys can just focus on your final papers. Okay? Keep in mind that your mock sentencing papers are due next week, and that's, if you have any questions, you can ask me. So for this week, I'm going to focus on the what would have been the final lecture, the lecture that would have landed on May 14th. So for this week, really I'm just talking about the concerns that our system of corrections has going forward. And so those concerns include prison overcrowding. Again, not a huge problem in New York State. But a problem that does exist, especially in states like California, Florida, and Texas. Overcrowding is an issue. Secondly is prisoner reentry. Now, prisoner reentry is a term that I want you to know kind of as a vocabulary term. Please do not get that term confused, because I understand that when people read prisoner reentry, people read that like you're reentering prison. What it actually means is that you're reentering society. So there is a concern about recidivism rates. And so, keep in mind, if you do not know what recidivism means, recidivism by literal definition just means a return to criminal activity. But what it literally means is this: it has 4 steps. Recidivism means that A, you've committed a crime, or 1, you commit a crime. 2, you go to prison. You get found guilty and you go to prison for that. Number 3, you finish your prison sentence, you come back into the community. And then number 4, you commit a new crime. That's recidivism. That's the return to criminal activity. So our recidivism rates, as of right now, for adult men in the United States, it's 80%. 80% of men who go to prison will commit a new crime within 3 years of returning back to the community. It's a high number. Well, some might not consider it to be high, but I do. And so that is a concern going into the future. And that ties to one of the other concerns listed on that first slide, which is whether or not prison is a training ground. Is prison just a school for criminals? Are we rehabilitating anybody? Are we fixing them? Are we correcting them in any way? Or are we just teaching them a better skill set? Obviously for car thief is the best example. A person goes to prison for grand theft auto. They sit at a lunch table with 4 other people that have went to prison for the same crime. Bunch of car thieves sitting at a table. What are they going to do? They're going to swap notes. They're going to figure out how not to get caught next time. So there is that concern. Also mentioned in this lecture is the idea of how do we prepare and hold prisoners more accountable once they get back into the community. And one way of doing that might be to train them or give them practice for real life activities. So there's the concept of the parallel universe. The parallel universe is, it kind of goes like this. Imagine if you have, 100 acres of physical space to build a prison. And you carve out a small chunk of that space and you build like a what kind of looks like a small town, like a 1 block, something you'd see like in a Wild West or something like that. The idea is that you set up a little teeny town with apartments, with grocery stores, and with jobs. So that if you have a 10-year prison sentence, in the 10th year, for a year, you get to stay in that small town and you get to practice real-world living. You have your own apartments. You have to wake up on your own. You have to feed yourself. You have to go to a job to earn money in order to get food to feed yourself. And so my question on the discussion questions is how far should that go? How real should that world be? Should you have, for example, here's a controversial one, should it be co-ed? Should you have male and female prisoners in that small town? Because you have to practice. People need practice with the opposite sex. Should you have the real vices in that town? Should you have like a liquor store, strip clubs, clubs? Some people look at that as ridiculous, but, those things are there in the real world. And the question becomes maybe people should get a little bit of practice. All right, fine, the strip club and the clubs are a little ridiculous, but that's It just depends. So if you guys want to answer that in your in the discussion question, that would be great. What should and should not be there? The whole purpose of that is that people can practice. Otherwise, this is a short lecture. I want you guys to focus in on your focus on your final papers and the mock sentencing papers, and I'll come back again next week with an email fielding any questions about that mock sentencing, and that's about it. Okay, guys, take care.